So much conversation. I've led a lot of it on this show for the California Fair Pay to Play Act. Tim Tebow, though, our fabulous college football commentator, was on First Take and said when he was in college, he didn't want to make money off of having one of the top-selling sports jerseys in the country. This is what Tim Tebow had to say from the SEC Network on First Take.
When I was at the University of Florida, I think my jersey was one of the top-selling jerseys around the world. Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make $1 from it. But nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to Florida, my dream school, where I wanted to go, the passion for it. And if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from we, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us, it's not about we, it's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling it onto that, where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money, that's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team. It's about your university. It's about where my family wanted to go. It's about where my grandfather had a dream of seeing Florida win an SEC championship. And you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1. And that's just not where I feel like college football needs to go.
That's fair,
There's that opportunity in the NFL, but not in college football.
Okay, there's a lot to get into there, Jason. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. And let me just say, I respect Tim Tebow. I respect his opinion. I love his passion, and I certainly feel that that's the way he feels about it. I just could not disagree with it more. And I thought our own Mina Kimes summed it up best when she said, I appreciate Tim Tebow drawing on his own experience, but he's making an anti-individualist argument while using his own individual story to disregard the needs of others. And I think that's the bottom line. All those things worked for Tim because he didn't have to struggle to make $1 or it was there for him. And there are other people that are not in your situation.
There are, and Tim didn't have the choice in that situation, but if he wanted to look back on and say, you know what, if I had the choice, I wouldn't want to have made money off my jersey.
That's fine.
That's great. One person's experience is valuable. It should not be the basis for a policy that all others are judged by in that situation. And the more I thought about this, because I looked at it from my perspective, where I always said, I came into college football with means. I came into college football not having to want for much. I played with a lot of guys that were not in that situation, with a lot of guys that had to send money home to help their parents keep the lights on, a lot of guys who didn't have a lot of walking around money to do much with at school. And so they were guys that could have used that money and all that. But even regardless of that aspect of it, just the chief thing in this that doesn't make sense to me is this idea that money being present inherently makes selfishness.
Correct.
Because I played, like Tim, in a time where people were not making money off their image and likeness of their play or anything in college football. And I still played with a fair amount of guys I would call selfish. Just like everyone else who's ever played sports or been in any environment. We work with people here that we'd probably consider selfish in certain regards. That's just the way the world works. None of those guys made a dime off that in college, and they were still that way. Conversely, we see great guys. Deshaun Watson. Who would look at Deshaun Watson and say he's not everything you loved about college football?
Correct.
Did I miss the part where he went to the NFL and got money and became an awful person and all about himself?
No.
That doesn't happen. Like, guys go from being 22-year-olds who are broke in college to 22-year-old millionaires in the spring every year. And we don't see a lot of them change up all that much. So that's the part I dispute, is that money is this inherent selfish maker in all of this. Labeling stuff as cultures absolves a lot of individuals of their own agency in these situations. So those ended up being the things that the more I looked at it that I kind of disagreed with.
I completely disagreed with what he had to say. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me, he made the two sides sound mutually exclusive.
Correct.
Yes. He made it sound like you either have to love your school and want to go to your school and be loyal to your school, or you have to take some money for an appearance. Because once you do that, you no longer love your school or want to be at your school.
No.
Which I think is absurd, quite honestly. I mean, could it happen to some? Yes. Could it not happen to some? Yes. Just like you said, without money going around, I played before you. I played with more than a few selfish guys who weren't getting paid and a bunch of great guys who weren't getting paid. And to sit there and just say that if all of a sudden they got an appearance and got money, that they're making this change and becoming selfish and aren't loyal to the school and don't love the school, and their parents still didn't want them to go there, and their grandfather still didn't want them to win, an SEC championship. I think it's ridiculous.
Yes.
To me, he made it mutually exclusive, and it's not. He explained his situation, and that's fine, but his situation is not the whole.
And that's the exact point. That worked for you. Let others work what is best for them.
Right.
Then I would also rather have a long discussion about why I completely disagree about college football is more popular than the NFL.
Well,
I mean,
he said more passion.
Well,
More passion, he said, more
and
passion.
which, you know what,
Yeah.
manifests itself, though? Listen, the NFL does ratings unlike anything else in the
Correct.
world. And so we can talk about, yes, the passion of college football is, I think, rooted more in the where than in the who is watching. But that's kind of a story for another day.
And by the
Correct.
way, let's understand, if this does happen, there will be problems with it. It's not like we're saying, oh, yeah,
No.
let him get paid for the likeness and everything will be hunky-dory. There's going to be issues that pop up, no doubt.
But I guess the thing is, and Tim served as a jumping off point to a larger conversation
Yes.
about this, where people try and concoct all these things that will be bad about it. Well, it will only benefit the elites whose boosters and people around there
that's
have money.
already happening.
Clemson, Alabama, Part
Thank
5 is
you.
getting ready to happen
I mean,
this year.
yeah, it's
It'll
exactly
create
right.
division within the locker room because certain guys will be the haves and certain guys will be the have-nots. I'm telling you, those jealousies and those feelings are already there
exist.
now.
Yeah.
This would just be putting an actual dollar amount on what so many guys already feel. So I think people don't recognize all these things exist already.
Yeah, this is coming whether the NCAA wants to be a part of it or not, and you're either going to be on one side of it when it happens or you're not, because this is starting its way down the tracks. There's no way about it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.